Hey everyone, Dan here. Before we get into it, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button. And keep in mind that these are my own thoughts, opinions, and ideas. These are not meant to be, nor should you take them as investment or trading advice in any way, shape, or form. Do your own due diligence, put in the work for yourself, and make your decisions based on that. Enjoy.
All right, folks, here we are on Tuesday, January 30th. We're going to take a look at Boeing today. So with earnings coming up, I thought we'd see where some support and resistance levels might lie based on, a potential big reaction to earnings. That said, the earnings reaction could be pretty lackluster and could be relatively sideways. So just keep that in mind as we go through the video here. So Boeing losing a bunch of its market cap based on some recent bad news, and it left this gap that it would get into at about 233.85, would fill it at about 245.04. So that would be quite a distance from where it is at the moment. It had another gap here that it pretty quickly filled. So the nearest resistance level that I see, if it does recede further below the 200 level, 196.95, 190.25, and then down here 178.71. You can see the others down there. If it continues to retreat, I tried to not muddy up the chart too much, so there's some other levels in here that are, say, more granular, but I felt like these were sort of the strongest, most standout ones, if you will. There's this gap that it's sort of in the midst of filling right now. It's getting mighty close. The high on this day was 197.26, and this got down to 198.32. 199.14, so getting pretty close into that level, but would have a little ways to go to fill that out. So we'll see if it can complete the gap fill there, or if it does want to rise up and maybe folks like, you know what, this was too much of an overreaction, we're going to step in and buy 209.29, 217.69, and then like we spoke about the gap, there's probably another level ish around 225 or so, but like I said, tried to keep it relatively smooth and clean. Reminder, before we flip over to the Think or Swim study, it could also go sideways. Don't forget that. All right, so on the Think or Swim side of things, it had this huge push, right? Big bullish wave here. It took the stock from about 176 all the way up to 267. And then what do we always look for when a stock has left the channel? We look for it to come in and retest the mid-range of the channel. Now, as it did that, it was obviously catching some bearish momentum. You see that clearly on the histogram here, and it just didn't put up much of a fight, shot it right through the lower bound of the channel. So again, now what I'm looking for is, like I said, what we always look for when a stock leaves the channel. Look for it to re-engage with the channel and then eventually test the mid-range of the channel. Now, can it do some things in the interim, like treat a bound of the channel? Right here, it treated the upper bound of the channel and the wave cloud as support, right? Sort of indicating that there's additional bullish momentum to exhaust. May it be doing that here? We'll see. It's trying to re-engage at the moment. It's not that far out of the channel, but obviously, these stocks can spend quite a bit of time outside of the channel. This was a really impressive run, spending that amount of time outside of the channel and not pushing back in, somewhere along the way here. That's quite impressive. So being that the bearish momentum was picking up, still relatively high, even though the histogram is showing it dying down a little bit. We'll see if it's going to persist outside of the channel or if it's going to be able to re-engage, especially on, a larger catalyst like earnings that can just sort of throw things like the channel setup or, EMAs or what have you sort of in flux, because there can be some outsized moves that come from it. But we'll see if that's the case this time around, or if folks are just sort of like want to sidestep it and not be too, aggressive in either direction. We'll see. All right, folks, I hope that your trading week is going well. And as always, I appreciate you watching, and I will see you in the next video.